Okay, Shalom, Shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah. Koholoyim La Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakahakodash. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Ahwa that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawaf. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And this guy that you see right here, I got a couple articles I want to just touch on. Crypto mogul found dead inside Lamborghini as market collapse after Trump tariff threats. Right, so this guy, it says a Ukrainian crypto mogul has been found dead inside his Lamborghini just hours after a $400 billion crash wiped out vast portions of the digital assets market, triggering fears of a link between financial ruin and mental breakdown in a high-stakes crypto world. He was discovered in the driver's seat of his luxury Lamborghini. A single gunshot wound to the head, ending the life of one of the Eastern Europe's most ambitious blockchain entrepreneurs. A pistol registered in his name lay beside him. But let me jump down to the point here. I want to get some of this. Let me see. Police said he had sent relatives a farewell message on Friday, admitting he felt overwhelmed and hopeless as the crypto markets tumbled. Authorities have not ruled out foul play, but say early evidence points to self-inflicted harm linked to financial despair. Okay, it says his death comes amid one of the worst digital currency crashes since 2022. A meltdown blamed on Donald Trump's announcement of 100% tariffs on China's imports, a move that sent shockwaves through global markets and wiped billions from Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana valuations overnight. God damn. Okay, so yeah, this guy, yeah, he supposedly had a bunch of pretty decent startups and shit like that. But yeah, you gotta you have to that's why we ask the Lord, we're thankful for our daily bread. Man, the brother, he was bringing that scripture out yesterday at camp about not giving me too many riches, or matter of fact, I don't want to butcher it. Let me see. Yeah, Proverbs 30:8, it says, remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Let me go into it on the next verse. Verse 9, lest I be full and deny thee, and say, who is the Lord Yahweh? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of Yahweh in vain. So, I mean, hey, we're on this planet and we're living in Esau Edom's kingdom. He's going to make this, the Lord is going to make this shit crash anyway. And people are going to crash out when they look, generally, it's been a lot of self-deletions, man, over the past couple of years, especially during the COVID-19 era. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, man, they just didn't know what to do, and that's why it's, it's very beautiful to have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai dealing with you, man, knowing the true names of the Father Yahweh and the true name of his son Yahushai, and being prayerful. Scripture says to pray without ceasing. We just need our daily bread, man, daily needs. And the Lord know what those needs are. He loaded us with benefits daily, the scripture says. And we roll with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Here you go. This guy was 32, young, healthy, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? And shit, if you built it like that, you should have had no problems rebuilding it. Shit. I mean, it is what it is. You had to have known that, okay, there's a possibility that something like this could happen. Maybe he should have put some of the money into some different, moved it around a little bit differently, had it a little bit more diverse. But anyway, let's go into this next article, because it was talking about Trump. Now, Trump with the tariffs, I was reading this earlier too. Trump bet China would face tremendous difficulties without the U.S. Consumers, Beijing just focused on the rest of the world instead. So that shit that Trump is trying to do, it's not hurting them, man. It's not hurting these Chinese. These the Chinese, They about business, man. Those are very good business people in a sense, you know. Like, you know, they just about money, man. They about getting their bread, you know. And so they deliver, you know, they used to, you know, it used to be known for kind of delivering shitty product, but, you know, shit, China done stepped up their game, man. That shit is no longer a saying, you know, amongst them. They deliver pretty decent product now for the low. That's the crazy part, you know what I'm saying? Because they, you know, they pretty much, yeah, they deliver you some good shit, man, for the low. And then they, you know, they dealing with Africa, they dealing with Russia, they dealing with, you know, all these different countries, you know what I'm saying? And America is just, you know, Trump motherfuckers just shooting themselves in the foot, man. Because people are not looking to him. See, people have been circumventing America's bullshit because they're tired of America weaponizing the dollar, man. All them sanctions they've been putting on countries for decades, you know, all these different things that they try and use the money to, you know, fuck with the people. And these countries, that's why you have, you know, something that's called BRICS, the BRICS nations, all these different nations coming together and trading and doing business in their own currency, you know, barter system and shit. You know, they getting around that American dollar. Now the dollar is still okay strong. It's still got some power, you know what I'm saying? But these countries, they're pretty much coming up and saying, you know, it's time to do something else because they weaponized that dollar. And you know, we're tired of that shit, basically. We need to find another way. And this is what these countries are doing, man. You can't blame them. Okay, but it says, just going to read this small portion here. President Donald Trump's tariff offensive against China appears to be backfiring as Beijing sidesteps U.S. consumers and boosts exports elsewhere. China's shipments to the U.S. plunged 27% in September, but overall exports rose 8.3%, their highest total this year, driven by strong demand from Europe and other markets. The World Bank now expects China's economy to grow 4.8% in 2025, while it's downgraded U.S. growth 1.4%. Despite Trump's renewed threats of 100% tariffs, analysts at UBS and Deutsche Bank say both sides appear open to compromise, with markets betting negotiations will resume soon. Well, you know, hey, you know, China just pretty much like the shit. We'll just go elsewhere with our business, man. Now, do they make a lot of fucking money from America? Hell yeah. America is the bulk of their money. You know what I'm saying? Because these Americans don't do nothing but fucking consume. You know, but a lot of that is even falling off too, because, you know, you still got people out here, they try and go shopping and do little things, but the economy, this shit is shipwrecked, man. You know what I'm saying? People not going out and just doing the shit that they used to do because they don't have those extra funds like that. And then the people that do kind of have the extra funds, they're holding on to them because they don't know, you know, this guy, they don't know, you know, this shit is too shaky. This economy is too shaky, so people holding on to their little savings, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? People not spending money like that, man. You know, decade or so back, it was nothing for you to get your check, man, and go to the mall or, you know, order you something, you know what I'm saying, that you might like, a pair of shoes, you know, it's shit that you don't even need, really. Because a lot of this shit, you know, America's the only place where a motherfucker got, you know, more than 5 pairs of shoes in their closet. That's almost every American. Some of these motherfuckers got 30, 40, 50 pairs, 100 pairs of shoes, man. And that's just shoes. We ain't talking about, you know, America's very wasteful, man. You know? As of late, I've been kind of venturing to, you know, the Salvation Army store. And generally I go in there, you know what I'm saying, because they got, you know, you know, they used to have the Blu-rays and the DVDs. You know, I go in there, I kind of collect those. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind watching a movie because most movies I haven't seen anyway. But when I see them on a Blu-ray and I can get that bitch for like $1, you know, when it was, you know, probably fucking $25 to $30 original, and the shit still look, you know, still new. Shit, I buy them shits. But I noticed that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people in this particular one that I be going to, hey man, they be in that bitch shopping. But even these Salvation Army and Goodwill stores, the prices are through the damn roof. You know what I'm saying? You might as well go, you know, to Walmart and just get some shit brand new. Sometimes you can, you know, you see shit, you know, if you able to search though, you can come up with some deals in there. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. But, you know, people They be dropping off shit and they be in there shopping, man. And so, you know, I see a lot of people in there, man, buggy full of clothes, shoe, you know, shit for their kids. They're doing stuff like that now. You know, you can get you know, a little pair of pants and shit for your children for $2, $3 or something. You know, people trying to save money wherever they can save money. You know, people are I was just watching this video with the elder in Kansas City, and he was playing a few videos in his video, but you know, and you just had people just talking about how they're not eating meat anymore. This one Edomite woman, or she appeared to be an Edomite, she might have not been, but she was like, you know, shit, you know, that eating meat every day. They like, nah, but we can't eat meat every day now. You know what I'm saying? She said she's buying the cheapest of noodles, you know, making a vegetarian, you know, type of pasta, or, you know, vegetarian, you know, just something that's cheap, because shit, you go and try and get some fucking beef these days. The damn beef prices is through the roof. So that makes people buy, you know, the chicken and fish and turkey and stuff like that. So once people start to buy those things, they, you know, they see that there's a demand for it, then, you know, the supermarkets, they jack that shit up too. So it is what it is, man. You know, so let me get this quick scripture too. Salakia. This one comes to mind. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, you know. We're not tripping on it, because, hey, we're praying for this place to fall. If you're not praying for this place to fall, you're not in the right spirit, man. All that praying for America to continue. Lord, please save America. God bless America. Lord, please don't let America go to World War III and all this bullshit. Man, get the hell out of here. You're supposed to be praying for those things to go ahead and speed up and happen. Okay, this is Ecclesiasticus 25:7, also known as the Book of Sirach, in the King James 1611 Bible. And it reads, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And this is what we're witnessing. And I just seen this dude over in Israel. He was doing that speech in Israel, you know what I'm saying, about these hostages and shit that's supposedly been released. He's standing there talking about, and one of the things that flew out of his mouth too, I'm just looking at this clown. He like, yeah, and these wonderful people here, the people of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm like, motherfucker, they come from Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. You know? But he's over there rooting for them, protecting and keeping them safe, helping them do what they have to do, sending billions of dollars to these people. You know what I'm saying? Because with all those, the government cuts and government being shut down and all that, you know, all the shit that he been doing, talking about government waste. Man, look, he's not stopping sending no money over there. He's supporting a foreign country, man, while Americans are going through it. You know, the brothers be saying that all the time, that, you know, them, hey, they get free health care over there. Here you go. You can barely, shit, you fuck around and get an ambulance ride to the hospital and see how much that shit hit your ass over the head with. You know, they'll put your ass in debt for a couple of decades trying to pay that damn ride off. You 5 minutes from the hospital. You know, they get free health care, free schooling as far as college and stuff like that. But here you go, you got people here, you know, people that you actually really need in certain fields. You know, motherfucker, $100,000, $200,000 in debt for student loan and shit like that, man. So this place is done, man. Okay, so that's pretty much about. And then when I went into the comment boards, they clowning the shit out of his ass, man. Yep. So yeah, it's not looking good. Now back in this other article, that this one part that JD Vance said. Let me get to this. I'll go to that third article real quick. This is what JD Vance had to say. Where is it at? Oh yeah. Vice President JD Vance defended the policy, calling China's dominance over U.S. supply chains a national emergency. Yeah, because y'all losing. Y'all losing. See, you've been kicked back. You know what I'm saying? Fat catting it. You know, not working. You haven't been putting towards your infrastructure. You haven't been thinking things through as far as like these other countries, you know, catching up to your ass and blowing by you in this race. Technology race, China killing them. Economic race, China killing them. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you know, they definitely got the ups on them when it comes to that digital currency and that MOTB that's coming, that market of beauty and the beast. But these Americans are doing bad, man, because they sat back, they had all that dominance for a while, and they wasn't paying attention and allowed. It's like a fighter, you know. He was in tip-top shape when he won his championship bout. You know, he's got the belt, and then, you know, he goes home, he gets fat as hell, drinking beer every damn day, you know what I'm saying, with the beer belly and shit. And his opponents, they've been in the gym. They've been hitting the speed bag, hitting the heavy bag. You know what I'm saying? Constantly sparring. They running 20 miles a day. This nigga, and then he tries to jump into the ring with him and get his ass whipped. He's out of breath. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's an example of what's happening with America, man. Okay, but it says, yeah, you damn right it's a national emergency. He said on Fox News Sunday, if China responds aggressively, President Trump holds far more cards. If they're reasonable, he'll negotiate. But if he won't, let America be controlled again. But he won't let America be controlled again. Yeah, well, hey, y'all not getting that. You know, it's a done deal for y'all, man. It's just time for y'all to shut it down, man. The Lord is shutting y'all shit down. It just is what it is. You're not going to come back. You're not going to be great again. And that just is what it is, man. Okay, so it says China's Commerce Ministry responded bluntly. We do not want a tariff war, but we are not afraid of one. And that's what it is. And see, America been shitting on their allies. They shitting on everybody all over the world. China good. China can go anywhere in the world and do business, man, other than this place. And really, China should they own a bunch of farmland and shit here. They own a bunch of land and a bunch of shit here, you know. And then they own a lot of America's debt. So it's nothing for them to go elsewhere and do business, man. And that's what they've been doing. And in the meanwhile, America has isolated itself from the world, man. Nobody liked this place. No, these fucking Americans don't even like America no more. Okay, now this was one right here too. GoFundMe CEO says the economy is so bad that more of his customers are crowdfunding just to pay for their groceries. You know, GoFundMe, used to be for mainly, people in trouble, real trouble. I guess you in real trouble, hell, if your ass can't buy no groceries, though. But, generally, like for funerals, people that, shit like that. But here you go. You got your American people. Again, they're funding Israel. They're funding Ukraine. They just gave, I think, Argentina $20 billion. They funding all these different places. But your citizens have to go and get a damn GoFundMe to get some fucking groceries in their house, man. That's crazy. But, hey, that's the fall of this kingdom, man. So we're witnessing the fall of this empire, man. And Trump, he's fronting. But see, people starting to see through that bullshit. He's fronting as if everything is okay. The economy is okay. The economy is the best it's ever been. All them fucking lies he's been telling. But see, all that shit is starting to catch up to his ass. Because this is crazy. You got your veterans. Then you got this government shutdown. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but it says the CEO said a quiet part out loud. In this economy, more Americans are crowdfunding groceries to get by. The head of GoFundMe, Tim Cardigan, told Yahoo Finance the economy is so challenged that more Americans are raising money to buy food, an arresting data point that captures the widening gap between households' budgets and basic needs. In a recent interview on the Opening Bid Unfiltered podcast with Brian Salzy, he described a notable rise in campaigns for essentials like groceries, a shift from one-off emergencies towards everyday survival. Basic things you need to get through life have gone up significantly in the last 3 years in practically all our markets. That evolution underscores the new economic reality for many Americans. Persistent inflation, higher borrowing costs, and thin financial cushions are forcing many households to triage bills, juggle debt, and seek help in new ways. Yeah, man, it's getting bad out here. His observation that more people are asking strangers to help pay for staples marks a sobering turn for a platform historically associated with medical bills, disaster relief, and community projects. That's generally what it was kind of, for. When the cost of food stretches paychecks past the breaking point, crowdfunding morphs from altruism to a parallel safety net. A previous Fortune coverage of inflation long tail consumers' coping tactics have included trading down brands, shrinking baskets, delaying car repairs, and leaning on credit cards. The shift Cardigan describes suggests those tactics have run out of runway for a growing slice of the country, especially younger and lower income households who rent, commute, and carry variable rate debt. The inflation aftershock, even as headlines, inflation cools from its peaks, elevated price levels remain embedded in household budgets. Because, just because the inflation, why would these people, that's just one thing about Esau. He's not going to take down the prices on some shit that he see. Once those prices get up there, and he know that people are buying that shit, and then, shrinkflation, you're getting smaller amounts for more money. Esau gonna stick to that because he makes money off of that shit. He makes money. He's not gonna give that up. That's Esau, man. Okay, it says Fortune has tracked how cumulative inflation, not just the monthly prints, weighs on families. For instance, grocery costs more than they did 2 or 3 years ago. Rent have reset higher. And childcare is straining paychecks. Oh yeah, boy, it's shit. A motherfucking shit. You got a kid going to daycare. We ain't gonna talk about 2 or 3 of them. In daycare, yep, that shit is a damn fucking house note and a car note together. That's a whole nother house note and car note in itself. Motherfuckers is paying like $300, $400, $500 a week. In some cases, man. That shit is crazy. Okay, so it says. Wage gains help many workers, but unevenly and often after costs had already jumped. For families without saving buffers, a higher cost baseline is the real story. That backdrop explains why an uptick in grocery campaigns on GoFundMe isn't a curiosity. It's a barometer of the current economy, Salakia. The credit crunch in the kitchen table. Households' balance sheets have been whipsawed by stubbornly high prices on necessities as well as steeper borrowing costs on credit cards and auto loans. Fortune's reporting has highlighted rising delinquency rates, nobody paying shit, among young borrowers, and the squeeze from student loan repayments resuming after a long pause. For some, the social capital of friends, community groups, and online donors now substitute for financial capital. Crowdfunding groceries is a last-mile solution in a system where wages, benefits, and public supports haven't fully bridged the gap. And hey, you haven't seen the real effects of these cuts that Trump is doing as of yet, though. Some effects have kicked in, but the real effects of these cuts to SNAP, to food stamps, to Section 8, and things like that, that shit. It ain't kicked in yet. You about to see some real shit soon. Like, for real. These people are already on edge, man. I know a few people that it's just not going well. You know what I'm saying? And, shit, man, again, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Shah for daily bread, man. People, they be overdoing it anyway. But a roof over your head, you got food in your cabinets, man, your refrigerator, you got clothes on your back, and you got a running vehicle. That's what the elder was talking about too. He's like, why the fuck would you go out here and get a damn 2025 with all this shit going on when you just buy a damn car, man, and keep the maintenance up on it and drive it as long as you can, Okay, but it says Cardigan also frames the moment as an opportunity. The U.S. is entering a historic wealth transfer as baby boomers pass tens of trillions to heirs and philanthropy. Yet overall charitable giving as a share of the GDP has struggled to break out sustainably above roughly 2%. Anyway, they talking about the Gen Zs and millennials and new donor thesis and all that good stuff. Nice article, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to read through all of it. Well, let's get this last part. Let me see. Let's get this last part real quick. What comes next? Many Americans remain one shock away from going into arrears. More GoFundMe campaigns for groceries fits the narrative and raises a challenge to wealth holders on the cusp of inheritance decisions. If the wealth transfer is the economic story of the decade, the generosity transfer might be its moral counterpart. Whether giving can rise meaningfully above its long-running share of the economy will hinge on channeling today's empathy into tomorrow's infrastructure so that no one needs to pass the hat to put food on the table. Well, let me just grab it. Second Timothy, it talks about how people would be. People cruel as hell right now. And the scripture talks about, the Lord, he mentioned in Matthew 24:12 that because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And people cold-blooded, man, shit. But Second Timothy, it gives you a description of how people would be acting in these end days. And so people not, people keeping what they have to themselves, man. People are not, you got a bunch of grown-ups moving back home with their 60 to 70-year-old parents, with the children, worrying the shit out of the grandpa and grandma. People are, living in, fucking vans and campers. Motherfuckers is rent. I can probably rent out my damn garage right now. Literally, I'm certain I can. I can rent that bitch. I can turn my garage. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, just my backyard. I can rent out my backyard to a motherfucker with a tent. And people been doing stuff like that. People just want a secure place, even though they might be in the elements, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? With a damn tent, but they prefer to be in a secured backyard with a fence where they're not out in a just laying out, you know what I'm saying, with a bunch of damn strangers. I've seen stories like that, man. But this is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. Damn flood behavior, man, is going on right now. It says, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God." Right? So these are the things that this is the attitude that most people have around you. That people don't care. These people are without natural affection, man. They gonna run down on you if you got anything. You know what I'm saying? It's about to come to a point where motherfuckers is about to start ripping each other the fuck off. A lot of more carjackings are about to start happening. A lot more stick-ups are about to start happening. People just, and that's why we say to walk circumspectly. People out here walking around with fucking earbuds and their damn ear headphones on, looking down at their damn phone. No, now it's not the time for that shit. You can get cracked over your damn head and motherfuckers gonna, rabbit ear your pockets, man. They're gonna rumble through them pockets and see what you got. Shit, in some cases, motherfucker might throw your ass in the back of the van and make you put them H.I.M. code in, goddammit. You better draw out what you do have in that motherfucker. So now it's not the time to be bullshitting around, man. Be circumspect, man. You know what I'm saying? Case your surroundings. Look around. Do reconnaissance, man. You see some strange motherfuckers, hey, shit. Make a move. Get the fuck on. You just never know these days, man. Because we definitely in some serious times, man, because people hungry. When people get hungry, I was just reading. I just done a lesson on those North Koreans over there eating motherfucking tigers and bears and weasels and whatever the fuck else they can get their hands on. Anything moving. They killing that shit and eating it because of the famine that's going on over there. A lot of those people, Kim Jong-un, he don't give a fuck about his citizens. Them people over there starving. So they eating whatever, man. Can't just eat, live off damn rice. You motherfuckers want some protein with that rice. Even though you're not supposed to eat shit like that, but guess what? When stomachs get to growling and they get to touching your damn back, it's going to come to a point where these people going to be choosing which kid they going to boil today. I'm telling you, this shit coming down the pipe. So I'm going to end out there, man. Shit is getting crazy. This shit is shit is just, it's not, And it's just time, man. I mean, it just is what it is. It's time for this place to fall, man. So it's a beautiful thing, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to end out there, man. I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yasha Allah, and Ababa Ball.